Hey guys, it's Wednesday, which means kind of a grab bag. Grab your bag Wednesday. Yeah, that's a catchy name, isn't it? No. Okay, why do I have this up? Well, today is the 1 year anniversary of the day I first heard about the controversy that would become Gamergate. And the reason I say the controversy that would become Gamergate because it's obviously before a certain series of now notorious articles happened. Um, and so I don't really consider the whole thing getting started out of respect to the people who are like, we don't care about that original scandal. We care about, ethics in games journalism. Fine. I'm not one of those people who go, no, it's not about that because, this idea that something has to be about one thing. I find it so odd and that's why you haven't seen me write one of those mostly terrible Gamergate 1 year later articles. You notice how many of those appeared from services that hadn't written anything before because the Society of Professional Journalists basically gave it a blessing that, hey, we Gamergate 1 year later articles, that's a story, fine, here we go. But I've read a lot of them and I've seen how upset people have gotten. And so I decided that the worst thing I could possibly do was do another one because people's backs are up and, even the good articles are becoming lightning rods for a bunch of stuff that I don't think we need any more of right now. So what I decided to do is say thank you to the gamers that watch this stuff and who engage and who defies stereotypes and just, want to live their lives and have fun and meet people through games and be accepted sort of in that paradigm. And I think that's an absolutely worthy thing. And it's funny, it's just been like the last, since Friday, that this is sort of crystallized. Like, oh, that's what you guys want. I finally get it now. This is what you want. It's about acceptance somewhere that gaming's a port in a storm and we have to sort of realize that, and it exists and it's so popular because people's lives suck. And I recognize that you can't even get away from sucky life in films and TV anymore, can you? Because film and TV is all about telling you products to buy and showing you the fictional lives of people who would probably never talk to you if they knew you. And it's just compounding all those old pains, right? And gaming is different because gaming, you can tell your story and you can make the story as close as the game allows you to the story you want. And I understand why that matters. Oh, good God. And the stories, the stuff that people have shared about their lives over the past year to me privately has been so overwhelming. I mean, just people are saying, stop yelling at us, stop, ironically enough, stop criticizing us, stop stereotyping us, stop lumping us together with the worst pieces of garbage in society. And, I've been thinking about this idea that the incredible, wonderful, illustrious irony, if I'm right, and if at the end of this whole thing, at the core of it, was just a bunch of people going, stop picking on us, that would just be like just sublime in some way. And you see that with a lot of the people that, are at the center of this thing. They're people who, to me, what I'm reading is they're clawing up, the cliff of importance. There's a game level, the cliff of importance. They're trying to claw their way up the cliff of importance because I guess they think that if people listen to them, if they have an impact, positive or negative, then their life has stood for something. And, that's everybody's choice to make, how you feel about that. But they're still on their way up, but they're being perceived as having made it. And I think that's where part of the problem is, that people are like, hey, you've made it, you shouldn't pick on us. And they don't realize that, oh yeah, I've made it. So I work for not much money. spend my entire day getting insulted by anonymous people on the internet, and occasionally someone makes the comment that the world would be better off if I was dead. Wow, the sweet smell of success. And I don't think that there's enough understanding of what it really is like to cover this stuff. And that was something I accepted, but I didn't see quite the same way before this year, because I didn't realize how profound the disappointment was in the game's press. I knew there were issues with it, going back to Gertzman Gate. I was aware of that, but I didn't realize how deep the anger ran, because I don't hang out on Reddit. And I mean, okay, a lot of things happened at the same time that really have nothing to do with games that contributed to this, didn't it? I mean, 4chan going kill was not something anybody could have predicted. Did I say that right? 4chan went kill. That's what I said. I don't know how to conjugate. There we go. Is that right? I think so. Oh, well, I'm getting derailed. But, 4chan went kablooey. And then the stuff with Reddit happened too. All those lockdowns. And, we saw subsequently that was a symptom of a much larger problem at Reddit. And that took sort of months to work its way out. But, the stuff that really made it burn, the fuel, was these unrelated things going on in these discussion areas that are supposed to be based on some fundamental principles that they just didn't follow up on. But now we have three things that sort of came into play that have nothing to do with games. So we go back, what is to do with games? Well, what I've taken away from the past year is that gamers expect the enthusiast press, the games press, to be their emissaries and their fighters, their champions in the industry, because we can be there. As much as it sucks sometimes, we can be there. And, the 2,000 or so people listening to this video can't. And that means something. And the people that watch our content and read our content expect us to understand that means something. We're not there for our own good time. We're there to receive and transmit information on behalf of the public, or this thing that people call consumers. You hear developers talk over and over again about the fans. You don't hear developers talk about, well, this is what our consumers want. And it's a different mindset. It very much is a different mindset. And that matters a lot. And the difference is, a consumer, it's like, I have to go buy a soup colander. That's a consumer. A fan is like, I love this stuff. I need this stuff. This stuff keeps me going. Don't disappoint me. Right? That's very different. And I get that. I'm scared for Dishonored too, because I thought the original Dishonored was a masterpiece of sort of, what is it? I won't call it open-ended game design, because it wasn't. It was all tunnels, but the way the sort of the chaos system worked and how it encouraged you to play, and the fact that it really was a 2 playthrough experience. I thought it was an amazing game, and I loved what it said, and I loved the fact that, you're playing through this mask, which is awesome. But, you're being watched by this little girl the whole time, and I just think that's cool. Like, I thought it was an amazing game. And I liked the fact that there were good female characters, there were evil female characters, there were good male characters, there were evil male characters. It didn't get sucked in to the politics of, well, you have to show women as heroic because we're this downtrodden portion of the population, right? No, I mean, I want those great, villainesses. Why? Because they're cool. And I mean, Dishonored 2 is the game they're going to make after, they got shellacked by Feminist Frequency, and there are all these complaints. And I mean, that's got to be freaking embarrassing, eh? to end up there because some player zoomed in on a camera and they took that footage. Like, that's not what the game was. The game doesn't make you do that. And I mean, regicide, being treated as violence against women, dismissing the Empress as background decoration. I mean, that must have been frustrating. And what do you do? Do you bow to that criticism? Or do you keep going knowing that it's going to be worse the second time because you didn't bow? That's what developers have got to decide now. And that, I think, has been the biggest thing that has changed for me professionally in the last year, is understanding that I can't be that journalist expecting developers to bow. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize games when I think they're worthy. What I feel is that there's another side to that. Yes, criticize things when they're worthy, but also I have to remember I'm not criticizing on behalf of me. I have to feel like there's enough people who feel the same way who need to be spoken for. And that has definitely changed how I go about doing things. So that's the thank you. Thank you for reminding me of that. We can't just let this keep going on. We've got people out there depending on us. And that's not journalism. That element right there is not journalism. At that point, you're an emissary. You're a diplomat. And I think that's sort of what... Maybe I'll change my business card to say gaming diplomat. Because that's really what I'm doing. That's really what people are looking for. They're looking for an ambassador, right? They're looking for us to convey messages to the developers as well as, transmit them. And that blew me away. That was a real revelation because to me, the developers go right to their fans through their message boards. That to me is where the feedback is. But I guess some people are so introverted that they don't want to challenge someone they perceive as powerful directly that way. And that's too bad because it really does work. They really do listen. I mean, I've said to people, guys, you're the people purchasing the games. They're going to listen to you a lot more than they're going to listen to me. But I understand, the average person on the street can't hand a developer a Best of E3 award. I get it, guys, okay? Like, you taught me something. Hence the thank you. Grazie. Gracias. Danke. Mahalo. Merci. Tak. I don't know what tak is. What's tak from? I don't know. Somebody tell me. But yeah, that's the biggest thing. And it really has. And it makes me sick to my stomach sometimes checking my email these days. Because I'm like, oh God, Liana, let it go. No, you can't. You have to make this point. Because there are people counting on you to make this point. And the thing that's difficult is there are things that I really feel that the industry should be doing better. A big one for me is don't agree with the mainstream media that these games and characters are junk. Don't back up this mainstream idea that the storytelling in Gears of War is shit. I've just replayed the game because I had to review it. It's still great as a game. I don't think we should agree that characters like Lara Croft or Bayonetta are empty characters. They're so not. There's so much to those characters, I don't think we should agree that violent games are a problem. Now, that's not the same as a developer saying, I personally can't make another violent game. I need to go and do something else, because that's not where I'm at right now. That's an artistic decision, not a political one. If you're having trouble sleeping at night because you're enmeshed in a world of blood and guts, that's valid. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, you shouldn't just go, yes, we're bad. Yes, you're bad. We're bad. Please, sir, can I have another? No. We need to start standing up for ourselves the way every single other industry stands up for itself. I mean, the defense industry and the gun lobby do a better job at defending their products from the outside world than video games does. And the defense industry and Like, defense is a euphemism. It's the offense industry. It's going on the offensive. It's making weapons. Okay? And, the gun lobby, they're not going to say guns kill people. People kill people. Guns don't kill people. But the video game industry is quite happy to go, yeah, somebody played this game and people got killed. So we're sorry. No. No. The people who spend a lot of money on games deserve better than that. They deserve better advocates for that. They deserve better ambassadors than that. We shouldn't bend over and take it every time some, real press outlet says something about us. I've worked for those so-called real press outfits. They're no better than anybody else. We need Joss Whedon for validation? I'm sorry, has Joss Whedon ever made a video game? No. So who cares what he thinks? But oh God, celebrity voices and celebrity presence. I never understand every single celebrity appearance at E3. I don't care unless they're actually out there performing. Was it Jason Derulo that performed at the Ubisoft press conference for Just Dance? But I forget who it was. But he was actually out there. He did a full song with dancers. He was entertaining the crowd. That's what a celebrity should be, not just a walk-on. Like, here's Drake for FIFA 2014. Who the fuck cares? Drake never made a game. Who cares? Did you make a game? No, I don't care. I mean, I was at a game show, I think it was last year, where a guy had a keynote. He'd never made a game. He had a keynote because he founded a magazine. And now he's bashing gamers. See, this is the stuff we take. We take this crap because for some odd reason, everybody secretly wants to make movies or TV or something like that. I guess because that's what we grew up watching as the prominent paradigm. And so we all still have our noses pressed to the glass, wishing we could make real entertainment. Bullshit. Games are real entertainment. To kids now, to the people we were then, games are real entertainment. And they want people who are willing to go out there and fly the flag and say why it's good and not accept this stigma from the mainstream press and not accept these accusations from the mainstream in general, to not let Hollywood infect us with Hollywood's bullshit. Because, my God, you want to talk about an industry that ruins freaking lives. Hollywood shouldn't be talking about what gaming's doing. The flip side of that is we need you guys. We need you guys to understand that we are doing our best and our ability is limited. And we need the people pushing the devs to go give this person access. We want to hear what she has to say or what he has to say or what they have to say, because now we have that third gender pronoun. We need you guys to be our advocates in that way as much as we have to be yours in other ways. It's a symbiotic system. And that's really not happening right now, and I recognize that. But that is what I've learned. That is what I've determined. That's my takeaway from the last year, is that gamers are tired of the media personalities that are supposed to represent gamers, selling gamers out to try to get acceptance from non-gamers, adopting this mainstream narrative that games cause social ills instead of just being an early warning sign against them. I mean, wouldn't you rather see that someone has a problem because of the way they interact with video games than the first time you find out there's an issue, they've got a real gun and shot a real person? I kind of like this idea that we could possibly identify these people sooner. Now, the reality is people didn't just start killing people because of video games. People killed people over books. People killed people over plays. People start shooting in movie theaters. It's not games. And study after study after study. I mean, the hard sciences are doing a better job at defending video games than the video game press is now. Because the video game press wants to attract advertisers. And those advertisers have mainstream opinions. And so everybody's bending over backwards and taking it up the you-know-what for money. And to an extent, that's understandable. But that's an unworkable system long term. You know, the downside of the past year is that advertisers are very skittish now, worse than it was a year ago. It's bad. It's bad. A lot of money has been sucked out of the system. And they're not coming back until things settle down. But we have to, I think, start. What's the word I'm looking for? We need to take the first step there. We can't expect to continue fighting with each other and have everything be okay. Somebody eventually has to go, you know what? Whatever happened, I get it. I get what you expect of me, and I'm going to do that. And you can follow me if you want to and come to this cool place with me, you know? And if other people want to come, that's great too, as long as they understand a few basic principles of how to be decent to each other and what we will and will not accept. And what we will not accept is this perpetual ongoing stigma against games and gamers. That is non-starter. You start that gaming warps minds shit, you are voted out of the house, or whatever the heck the reality TV term is. Like, no, there are certain things we will not stand for. We will not accept that. Right? We will not accept that our fans are any worse human beings or any better than any other fan base on the planet. No different than music, no different than movies, no different than comic books, right? We will not accept that gaming has something uniquely damaging to it, or that violence in a video game is any different than violence in any form of media, in that the people consuming it know it's not real. We will not accept this idea that camera techniques and character depictions and tropes of women that are borrowed from other media, and that means film and television, are suddenly something inherently evil about games. We will not accept any of this, because we didn't create those tropes. We just borrowed them so people could follow stories told without words. And these are the things we have to start saying. We have to say them proudly, and we have to say them confidently, because they're true. They're absolutely true. Why does Mario have a princess in a tower? Why does Mario have a damsel in distress? Well, why the fuck else would he go from point A to point B and go through all that peril? It's just using the prince fighting the dragon thing that everybody understands because we see it so many damn times. It's just using that to be able to explain why this little plumber guy is running into danger. Right? That's all. It was just explaining the gameplay. And it's great that people think that that is so easy when no one had ever done a basic story in a game before that way. You know, games were more like games like sports before, not these narratives. That was a big deal. But it needed a story that every single person could understand, because we've heard that tale. It's tale as old as time. You know, we needed a tale as old as time to explain why a plumber was jumping on turtles, because that makes no sense. Rescuing a princess was the only thing that probably made sense in all of the original Super Mario Brothers. And that's the thing that gets criticized. That makes no damn sense. So these are the things we have to start saying. And these are the things we have to start yelling if we have to. And people have told me I'm very good at yelling, so I'm willing to do that. But like I said, thank you guys for teaching me this. Thank you for having me come to this realization. And, you know, thank you for still being here now after all this stuff. Because like I said, I'm going to go and I'm going to wave the flag for games. I'm going to be a standard bearer for games, because the journalism thing, it's not really working, is it? I'm way more use as someone saying things like this as an advocate than I am as a news gatherer. And you guys made me realize this. You guys made me realize that my purpose, that my place is not telling other people's stories. It's telling the story of gamers as one. And I'm really amazed that I'm that unique in the press, that I say I am a gamer with pride instead of shame. But you guys gave me that. You guys made me realize that this was something of value. So read the screen. in the language of your choice. Thank you.